Tonight we're going to be discussing all the promises, not all of them, but the concept of why are there so many promises listed in the Christian New Testament, but you don't see them being fulfilled like at all. So we're going to talk about that tonight. So sit tight, grab yourself a pen and paper, and a big old cup of coffee, because we're going to be right back, and we're going to have a lot of information for you. So sit tight. We will return in just a moment. Boom. Welcome to the Knock Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament, with Rabbi Stuart, the man, Federow. Welcome back, Rabbi. How the heck are you? All right, we got to make sure we get the finger dance in before everything goes away. Finger dance, finger dance, finger dance, finger dance, finger dance, finger. You can't hear the music? What? Oh, you can't hear it. Really? You can do this. That's really weird. Oh, you had your things positioned out. There it is. I don't know what I like more, the finger dance or the smiles.
I like the smiles better, the finger dance. You know,
that's just too funny.
The music just moves me. I have no choice but to get up and dance.
I heard that. Yes, sir, indeed. Very cool, very cool. So, I'm not really sure what hit me at the last minute on this topic, but I just got to thinking about, I don't know what verse it is. I'd have to look it up, but it says, all these things that I have done that you've seen me do, says you will do these things and even much greater things.
Yeah, good luck. Jesus also promised that before that generation died,
right,
he'd return. Guess what? Didn't happen.
Right. And so I'm thinking, what type of things did they do? I mean, in the Bible, if you think about all the things that happen in the Bible, like walking on water, I listed some of them on the title, feeding, thousands with a few fish and a few loaves of bread, all this other stuff, right? And I'm thinking, I have never once in my entire Christian life ever heard, while I was a Christian, of anybody doing anything like that, or even raising the dead. And every once in a while you hear something, oh, so-and-so in Africa raised this guy from the dead. Well, were you there? No, but I heard the story. Well, that really didn't help me much, And I'm thinking...
It depends on the story. There's a lot of great stories I know.
Right. And that's just it, though. I mean, that's why I kind of titled...
Are you telling me a story?
Right. So, I mean, would you agree that there's such dynamic claims? You would think that they would want to offer some sort of proof. You hear things like, well, this woman's ovaries were shriveled up, and she had a baby. Well, the only person who would possibly know that would be probably her husband, and the doctor. That miracle doesn't help anybody else in the world, unless they...
Well, actually, that's not true.
Okay, good. Explain. I want to be fair about this.
Well, to be fair, the help it gives the people who hear it.
Oh yeah, you're right. It builds their faith.
Yeah.
True.
Look.
You understand what I mean, though.
Yes. No, I know what you mean.
Okay.
But I can't think of the name of the author. George Bernard Shaw.
Okay.
My memory. George Bernard Shaw wrote a play called. What's the woman who fought the battle for French against the English?
Shit, don't get me lying.
I can't think of her name. The woman who got dressed up in military, like a knight's armor, and wound up dying as a martyr. They gave her up, even though they helped her. France gave her up to England.
Joan of Arc.
That
would be thank you, Martha and Christo.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, you Nick. In George Bernard Shaw's play, Joan of Arc, he said they're talking about this very thing, and he says, "What's a miracle?" And George Bernard Shaw, writing in the play, says, "A miracle is anything that enhances faith."
Right.
And the miracles, supposed miracles, for those who want to believe that they actually happen, validate their faith. They give them their faith. Right. So a woman whose ovaries were supposedly shriveled, okay, I'd like to see the x-rays, but even if they are.
That's my point. Where is the proof that happened?
They could tap into the mind over matter stuff.
Yeah, right. For
Okay,
sure.
that the human brain does things we don't even understand yet.
Right.
And so if they want to heroin can make you feel stronger.
Right.
Cocaine can make you feel stronger. You can get
That's very true.
The steroid I'm on for my lungs, makes me without pain. 1,000 years ago, these would have been considered miracles. Here, drink this.
Right.
So.
Yep. That's really crazy. And I'm thinking,
Christo's right. We experience thousands of miracles every day. We just don't notice them. But a miracle is supposed to be noticeable because by definition, at least some people's definition, a miracle is something that violates God's laws of nature.
Yep, right.
So you would think that they're really a miracle. They'll say, oh, a baby is such a miracle. Well, yeah, but no.
Right. Yeah, baby,
okay?
No, that's natural. That's not.
It's part of nature, and all of nature may be a miracle because all of nature is.
I don't agree that, and I know you're thinking the same thing I am. I don't agree at all that childbirth is a miracle. Not at all, because it's
not
natural.
Like we really mean the word in religious studies.
Right.
In a
absolutely.
religious studies context.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Right on. So it's kind of like that saying, if a tree, and this, I'm not making a joke out of this, even though I think that what I'm fixing to say, somebody used as a joke regarding a husband and wife hearing each other. Anyway, but what we're talking about right now, it's kind of like the whole thing. If a tree falls in the forest, but there was no one there to witness it, did it ever actually fall? And in my mind, I'm thinking miracles.
No, that's.
What's that for? I heard that in a joke context from somebody.
Well, yeah, it could have been a joke, but there are two ways to ask the question.
Okay.
If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it.
Okay.
The question they usually ask is, did it make noise?
Oh, okay, got it.
But noise, by definition, is what bothers a human.
Right.
So therefore, the answer is it made sound, but it didn't make noise.
Gotcha.
Okay. There's another way to word it, which I can't remember now. But one of them, the answer is no. The other answer is yes, or something like that.
Okay. So now that you mentioned it that way, then I actually really do like the way that I worded it then, because that really would apply here.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much so.
I can only accuse my steroid.
No, I love your stories.
For 5 days, I get to feel good, and then it goes back to normal.
That's
again.
funny. I'm so glad you're. I am so glad you're feeling good. Oh man, I forgot. Okay. I'll open up the phone lines here in about 15 minutes because I'm going to just talk to you for a few minutes here. So this whole thing, like I said, the whole thing about tree falling in the forest. If a tree falls in the forest, think about this with your head, people. If a tree falls in the forest, but there was no one there to witness it, did it actually fall? You don't even have to answer that. But the logic would say, well, how do you even know it fell? Of course, we know trees fall in the forest all the time. But if you say a particular tree fell in the forest, but no one was there to see it,
you have to go take a look and witness it.
You have to find somebody to witness it. Exactly.
No, you have to go in and see the results of it having fell. If you go into the forest and you see it on the ground, it had to have fallen because it was once standing up, right?
Yeah. Right.
So there should be clear evidence.
Yes.
So when Jesus says, the meek will inherit the earth, it's a promise. I'd like to see it fulfilled.
Right. JAR says, but if a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to observe it, did it fall? Related to quantum physics. Okay.
I'm not a physicist.
I
don't know.
I know two words regarding quantum physics. Main ones that everybody knows. Are you ready? Sheldon Cooper. Just saying. Big Bang Theory. I love the Big Bang Theory. That's
9 more shows left.
What? What do you mean left?
This is the last year. 9 more shows left.
No.
Yeah.
I gotta do this.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Okay.
I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss that show.
Sean Gibson. Hello. My question is, why does it matter if the tree fell? Okay, so Sean, if you just tuned in, which you probably did, I guess I'll explain
that's
to you.
Funny.
Yeah. So we're comparing the tree falling thing to miracles. Christians' claims on miracles. They say this miracle happened, not like childbirth, because that's, but like somebody was healed of cancer or whatever the case may be. If there's really no witnesses, I mean, you can tell me that, and I can believe you. I can have faith in what you're saying. But realistically, what do we do? So
Yasmin Coates says it matters to whoever was underneath it when it fell. Did a tree fall in the forest?
Oh,
Who cares?
yeah. That's pretty funny right there. Okay. Okay. So going kind of doubling back a little bit. So, what are there's some generic things. I would call them generic things. Like, I will send you a comforter. Yeah, Christians are comforted. I was comforted as a Christian, right? I'm not talking about stuff like that because, honestly, anybody can be comforted by anything. It doesn't have to be something what they would call the Holy Spirit. I mean, some people are comforted by a song they heard back in the 80s when they're sad. They're like, oh my God, I feel so much better now. That's comfort is comfort is comfort. What I'm talking about is tangible things. Why aren't
most of the promises of Christianity are not tangible?
Right.
They have to be accepted by faith.
You said it best.
She will bear a son, and you will call his name Jesus, and he will save the people from their sins. No, he can't. That contradicts what we've already been revealed by God in Deuteronomy, Exodus, all over the Bible.
Right.
Okay, so some promises that they make, go prove you're saved. Well, I believe. I'm a believer. My faith tells me that I am now saved.
Right.
Well, okay, that's nice, but go prove it.
Right. Listen, everybody, real quick. If you're enjoying this show, any of the shows, share them. Okay. Go to YouTube, copy the link, share them, or if you're on Facebook, share them with your friends. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Literally, like it. Go through the action of clicking the like button on it. It will actually help generate searches. Whenever people search for this topic, it'll search up higher on the list the more likes it has, and that's what I'm told anyway. So if you would certainly give it a thumbs up, I'd appreciate that. And then if you like what we're doing here, I'm throwing this out here now so I don't want to talk about the rest of the night, please think about supporting Tanakh Talk's finances on a regular basis if you can. That would be great. TanakhTalk.com, look for the PayPal button at the bottom. I'll end it there. Now, before I forget, I think I forgot last week, Rabbi, your book. I really think everybody needs to have a copy of your book. Everybody should buy Rabbi Singer's books too, but they're so huge you can't really carry them with you. This thing right here, you could almost fit in your back pocket, And then speaking of that, the app Jewish Mission and Control, which I'm not sure the status of it. However, the website.
The both apps are in the process of being rebuilt ground up.
Okay, what Jews believe, whatjewsbelieve.org is...
Yeah, and the Spanish creenciajudia.org.
That website technically is the app, but you have to use your computer for that. But you go to whatjewsbelieve.org, not only will you find his book there, but you'll also find everything that's on that app. You'll find all these little questions, and you can click on the question, it'll instantly hyperlink you to the answer and to a full explanation of things. Really, really awesome to have in your shirt pocket or, in your book bag or whatever you want to call it. So, all right, so moving forward. It is a great book. Sean Gibson says it's a great book. Thomas Schaus, Thomas Schaus, he says, I was comforted by Christianity with the paddle to my backside. That's funny. Let's see. Good. Thank you, Nicholas. He said he will definitely share. Hello, Chastity. Good to see you. I don't know who all is watching. I know there's about 50 or so. Actually, 62 if you count Facebook. So hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys. Okay. And so I'm really, what I was going to say, you said yourself, and I've heard you say it before, but you said it again after I kind of created the show tonight, which to me is one of the most profound questions that I have personally ever heard.
Which is what?
In history of this whole miracle New Testament promises business. And what you said was, why, if all this stuff is so true, then why aren't there any of these faith healers showing up in hospitals?
Right. You have to go to their church. You have to go to their tent revival. You have to go to them. But if they're so sure of their abilities to create the miracle of healing, why aren't they employed by hospitals? And even if they're not employed by hospitals, why don't they spend every minute of every day there healing everybody if what they say works?
Yeah.
Oops.
Now I have to tell you something. This is something that it was sad. It's a sad thing. It did not break my heart like I probably thought it would. I was a little sad over it. But here's the thing, and it's right on the topic that we're on right now. So I have a friend. Actually, two of my friends from the same era, literally from the same era. We even all knew each other at the time. Two of them. This was like 25 years ago, by the way, when we actually were like visiting. We hung out together. We were all part of the church ministry team and things like that. Two of these guys died within a week apart from each other. Now, they didn't go to church together the entire time, and it wasn't like so close that everybody was like, oh my God, they must have been poisoned. It wasn't nothing like that. They literally led different lives now than they did back then. However, I'm getting to a point. One of them was a closer friend of mine who we actually fell apart when I started following Torah. I keep hearing my thing popping too much. I think I've got it too hot. Let me turn it down some. Check 1, 2, check. Okay. So we really kind of drifted apart from friendship because of my walk with Torah and his choice to stay in the Christian Messianic movement, right? Anyway, this particular guy was a friend of ours at that time, and I haven't been friends with him for probably 15 years. So there's not really an emotional connection there anymore. But he actually died of cancer in the hospital. He's younger than I am. And the thing about it is, he refused treatment. He refused to have any kind of treatment whatsoever. He said he was believing in faith that Jesus was going to heal him, that God would heal him through Jesus, right? And he never once got better. He consistently declined. His health just declined like terribly, and then he died. And it's a sad thing that he died, and I'm not making fun of that at all, but I'm telling you, when it really comes down to the nitty gritty, I have never seen, even as a Christian, and I was a Christian for a long time, even as a Christian, I have never witnessed with my own eyes a single miracle. I have heard thousands of them. Everybody's saying their aunts and uncles and their dog and their neighbor. I mean, I used to...
Tell me something,
yes,
William.
Yes.
Just real quick interjection.
Okay.
Isn't it logical? Doesn't it make sense that at some point this man who died awaiting God prayed to God for health and getting over his illness?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Doesn't it make sense that the person you're talking about who passed away often prayed to God for something to happen to make him healthy again and not die?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks it will be opened.
Yep.
So one more promise.
Yep.
Probably not coming true in so many people's lives all over the world.
Yep. Absolutely.
Another promise for naught.
So when I was a Christian, I was very much, I guess you could say, I guess you could call me a missionary. Missionary in my mind means you're going out of the country. I wasn't that type of missionary, but I was very outspoken. I was very much I would call myself a loudmouth. I mean, even back then they would jokingly call me
loudmouth. You
even back then they would jokingly call me that because they would say, "Man, this guy's got what's the term in Hebrew, nachas or something? You're just really, really bold and just, nothing scares you when you when I go to talk to people. I have no idea what you mean.
What nachas is snake. I'm not sure what you mean.
Nachas? No, I don't know. Anyway. Okay.
I'm not sure either.
Okay. Anyway, I'm probably just going off of some bad memories. But anyway, so I would literally go everywhere I went. I almost made it a point to witness to somebody everywhere I went. I went to a gas station. I would find somebody in a store that, I don't know, that I felt like the Holy Spirit was leading me to, and I would say something to them. I don't care what it was. Go out to eat with my friends, didn't matter what it was. Even when I was out to eat with my family, walking through Walmart, I was always witnessing, making it a point to say something to somebody to give them some sort of a spiritual awareness, right? And so, dang it, I got so sidetracked, I forgot where I was going with this. But, I know what it was. So there was so many times that myself, I would repeat, and I know you'll get this right away, I would repeat miracles that happened, that I heard. I never saw them, but I would repeat these stories over and over again because people are like, what, are you serious? And it was an effective tool. And it really opened people's eyes. And so I would tell these stories that I had heard. I'd even made up a couple myself just because I thought somebody wasn't paying attention. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. And I would say something like crazy, like I saw this lady's leg grow out 2 inches in front of me. Bullcrap. I never saw a dang thing, right? But I used that, and it made people, it got their attention, And it's like, where do you draw the line, And so I'm just amazed to see how much of the New Testament is so loaded. I'm trying to be careful with my words here. Loaded with empty stuff, empty things. The promises that it never, ever, ever got fulfilled. Not even, so many of them. Things that would actually count. Like I said, I'm not talking about bringing you joy in times of sorrow. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things, tangible things that other people can witness and see, of something experienced right before their eyes that makes them go, oh my God, that was a miracle, right? Having a baby is not a miracle. So anyway, in that sense of things, that is. So, right. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and...
By the way, do you know how this gets around it?
How what gets surrounded, sorry?
Christianity.
How it gets surrounded?
How Christianity gets around...
Oh, gets around it. Okay.
The promise, for example, of answers to all prayers.
Right.
Asking you shall receive, seeking you will find. How do they get around that?
Right.
Okay, Matthew 9, it shall be done to you according to your faith.
Right. Yeah.
So blame the victim.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, you didn't get healing. It's your fault because you didn't have the right faith, the amount of faith, the right amount of faith, the good faith, the strong faith, whatever.
Yep. I guarantee you, my friend Chase that died, I guarantee you, he had 100% faith. Guaranteed.
Yeah,
not
even shrug their shoulders and say,
not even a question about it.
Well, I guess God's answer to my prayer was no.
Yeah, right. Or they would say, well, he must have had sin in his life that God just couldn't forgive him for. But then again, that would violate their whole thing. So, okay, cool. Guys, the phone lines are officially open.
By the way, Lori Cash says something that's actually very important to understand.
Okay.
But I think that's more Judaism than it is Christianity. You have to pray for what God wants too.
Right.
In Judaism, there's a concept called bracha levatala, which means a prayer, a wasted prayer, a useless prayer, a prayer for naught. Okay, a prayer done in vain. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, so the classic example is you're driving home and all of a sudden, way down the street, you see a fire engine turn into your neighborhood. And your prayer is, oh my God, don't let it be my house.
Right. And then it's not your house.
Well,
and then
No. It doesn't matter. Oh. The point is it's already somebody's house.
Right.
Your prayer is not going to make the flame jump to somebody else's house.
Right.
If it happens to be yours.
Right.
Okay. So the idea is that you have to pray for something that is, please God, let them get there and save everybody they need to save, or please God, give them strength to do what they're about to have to do. These are meaningful prayers. But saying, my wife is pregnant, please God, let it be a girl. Please God, let it be a boy. It's already what it is. It's a wasted prayer because you're praying for something that's already a fact, one way or the other.
Right.
So the better prayer, like you see in ambulance, is, not to say, please God, don't let it be someone I know, but rather, please make it to where you're going on time. Please have the strength to do what you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Lori's point is actually very important.
Very good. And by the way, chutzpah. Thank you, David Marie. Chutzpah was the word I was looking for earlier, not nachas. And also Timmy Hibbs.
Are you talking about chutzpah?
Chutzpah, yeah. Timmy Hibbs brought up a really, really, really good addition to what we're talking about your faith. Timmy Hibbs on not on YouTube, on Facebook.
Sorry.
I'm trying to monitor Facebook as well.
Okay.
And so he said that he actually quoted the part about the faith of a mustard seed. Is if you just got the faith of a mustard seed, it's all it takes, right? But still, none of this stuff is happening, So Interesting. Okay,
that's
so
why Judaism. That's why Judaism points
shoot.
out that our prayers have to be very.
I did not realize. I hope I didn't miss too many phone calls, but I had the volume
I didn't
down.
hear it ring.
I know I had the volume down. Caller, you are live on the air. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Caller, you are on the air. Can you hear me? I can't hear anything actually. Why am I not?
I don't hear it either.
Hold on. Did this something come up? No, because
Hey there.
Yeah, I can hear you now. He was watching the delay.
Okay. Hey, greetings, Rabbi.
Hi.
Hey, yeah. So I was, I've been listening to the show and everything. So I'm sure you're aware of all the near-death experiences that are, that people have been claiming to have. So how are we to view those? I mean, obviously, I don't, Christians, they have a different view of, hell and whatnot. So how, and usually it's always the near.
There's a bunch of interesting studies on this, by the way.
What is that?
I said there's a bunch of interesting studies about these near-death experiences. It is extremely rare, like incredibly rare, for anybody who's had a near-death experience to say, I saw what hell was like. It's like 1 billion to 1. Okay, that's not true, but it's like minuscule. Those whose near-death experience, which is where supposedly they are dead and come back from death. So near-death is really not a good title for it. But what happens is that they never say, I saw what hell looked like. They always get to go to heaven. Isn't that just interesting? That nobody is deserving of hell. And by the way, I've never studied this. I don't know much about it. I am talking through my hat, through my yarmulke. But I don't know that the Jewish community has this nearly as many, whatever percentage of Christians have these near-death experiences, you would expect to have the same percentage of Jews having the near-death experience if it was the same something. But in my opinion, you don't. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but on a per capita basis of the Jewish community, because our religion at the basis isn't about getting to heaven. It's about our relationship with each other and our relationship with God and our relationship with fellow humanity. It's not really about how to get to the afterlife. So it wouldn't be in our conscience. No, it wouldn't be in our consciousness about the afterlife. It wouldn't be primary. It's not our issue. It's not our thing. So why then does it become so prevalent within Christianity? And that's because they're setting themselves up for that kind of experience. Do you see what I'm saying? Hello?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Right.
Okay. And by the way, I got to tell you something. What's the line from Shakespeare? There is more in reality than you have in your philosophy, Horatio, or something like that. Okay. We don't know the brain. We don't know the soul. We've never held the actual soul in our hands. It's spiritual. It's not physical. There are parts of creation we don't get yet. We may never get at all. And so I'm actually not going to reject what they experience. But if somebody, God forbid, comes behind you and squeezes you very hard and you lose consciousness because of a lack of oxygen to the brain, studies have shown you'll have the exact same experience with the light and the feeling out of body experience and this kind of thing as a result from the lack of oxygen to the brain. So is it real? Is it not real? Is it Memorex or is it the original voice? I don't know. And I can go any way you want to go with it. I can accept it or not accept it because to me, it's not relevant to my faith.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that did answer my question. If you don't mind me asking, I know Judaism views sort of the heaven and hell much differently than Christianity does.
Right. Views what?
Daniel.
Heaven and hell, different.
Yeah, heaven.
Well, okay, now look.
Hey, Rabbi, hang on one second. Go ahead.
Okay. Like in Daniel, we're told that at the end of days, that those who are sleeping in the dust of the earth will rise. Does that imply that they're not conscious when they're dead, or does it mean that
that doesn't imply anything? They're sleeping in the dust, but their consciousness isn't in the dust. Their consciousness is in heaven.
Okay.
Resurrection,
right?
Okay, is the soul goes back to the body, and the body is alive again. But when they're in the dust, the soul goes back to God who gave it. It's Ecclesiastes 12:7, I think. The point is, so I don't think that is a statement about consciousness at all. That's how I understand the verse. That's not a statement about consciousness. That's a statement about eventual resurrection. There's a great line in, I think it's Isaiah. I'm not sure where it is. I could find it if you push me. But it's basically the prophet, whichever prophet it is speaking, and he says, "Your dead bodies and my dead body will come back to life." You can't get a more clear statement of resurrection than that verse. Okay, right. And I can't remember exactly the chapter it's in. Okay, I could find it if you want, but
it's okay.
But that verse itself doesn't really say much, a whole heck of a lot about consciousness. At least I don't see it in there.
Right. Well, good deal, man. Well, thank you for your call and your questions. Good questions. I appreciate that.
Yep.
By the way, can I interject something?
Yeah, go for it. He's still on the phone.
And that is this. We have to be very, very careful with the words we use. And I'm always really, I'm very careful. I try to be very careful with the words we use. Hell has a very specific definition, which requires the definition to include eternal torture of the soul. As a matter of fact, I just read an interesting line that Judaism rejects the idea of an infinite punishment for a finite crime or a finite sin, but the punishment would be infinite because eternity is a really long time. So the idea of that punishment being eternal is not part of Judaism. That's why we can say, by definition of the word hell, we don't believe in hell. We believe in a punishment, okay, but we don't believe in a hell. Because hell, by definition, means eternal torture of the soul in the next life for the sins committed in this life. That's not a merciful God, compassionate God, forgiving God, and that's not the Jewish idea of God. Unless you're in the extremely rare case, okay, there are a few examples in tradition, but they are so, look, come on, how many people have you murdered lately?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, by and large, people are, the sins we commit are not earth-shattering, and to have an infinite punishment for a finite sin is not our idea of a just and merciful, compassionate God.
Caller, you were going to say something?
Yeah, and I do find that most of these near-life experiences done mostly by Christians, they always present the traditional Christian everlasting torture, sort of, the way that we find it, traditionally, the fear part,
right?
And and it goes and that fear aspect. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's, we're told to fear God because there's going to be, righteous punishment if we don't follow him. But Jesus, he makes the definitive claim that if you do not believe that he is Messiah, that you will die in your sins. But then it's based on, it's sort of ambiguous if he is the Messiah or not. Like, it could go, well, how should I put it? It's kind of like, it's kind of like shooting an arrow and drawing a target.
Right, that's Rabbi
where the arrow lands.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You shoot the arrow first, then draw the arrow around. You draw the target around the arrow.
Yep, there you go.
So me personally, the reason that I had to abandon Christianity and go towards more Judaism was because I could not say to myself, I was saying that, I was believing that Jews are going to be, going to hell because they don't believe in Jesus. But it's based off of not unverifiable evidence. Okay, like it's just ambiguous evidence.
Right.
Would rather say. So I just could not accept.
Right.
That
it says
claim.
the 10 men shall take hold of the skirt of the Jew. Oh, wait a minute. All the Jews are in hell. So how is that even possible?
Oh, precisely.
By the way,
That's
the Isaiah passage I was speaking of is Isaiah chapter 26, verse 19.
Yeah, who brought that? Chastity or somebody wrote that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't even see it. I was looking on my own. I should have waited for them to help.
Yeah, Chastity is Zaku. Thank you.
Isaiah 26:19. Your dead men shall live, together with my dead body they shall arise.
That's awesome.
You can't get a more clear example of the Jewish belief of resurrection than that.
That's very well done. Very well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much for your call. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you bet. Bye. All right, phone line's back open. And so, I don't know. We could beat this.
Oh, there it is. Chastity did.
You're right.
Isaiah 26:19. Yeah.
There you go. All right, phone lines. There we go. Phone number's back up again. Okay, so I don't know how many of you viewing now actually watched last night's episode of a rabbi cross-examines the New Testament. We did 2 Corinthians chapter 1, and with Rabbi Michael Skobac. And for me, it was
brilliant.
It was one of the most thought-provocative shows that I've enjoyed since the very beginning.
This is 1 Corinthians which?
No, 2 Corinthians chapter 1.
2 Corinthians 1.
Yep,
Okay.
2 Corinthians 1. Let me get this answer here. There we go. Caller, just 1 second, okay? And so Rabbi Skobac pointed out something I never thought of before. We always have had the argument, was Paul really a student of Gamliel? We've discussed that on our show before. But what he did, he went back a little further and decided to check Paul's credentials based on Tanakh. What does Tanakh say? That if a person is going to come in and teaching you things that are new or anything like that, what does Tanakh say the guidelines are, right? And Paul failed, like all of them. And so why are the Christians even listening to him to begin with? Vision or no vision only proves that they never read the Tanakh or weren't familiar with Torah, either one. So it's really, really dynamic. So anyway, caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, William. My name is Tammy, calling from Indianapolis.
Hi, Tammy. Welcome
Hello,
to the show.
Rabbi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so glad to get through. I have a quick question. This came up in a conversation with a family member who's recently left the church. My husband and our family left a little over a year ago.
Congratulations.
She's had lots of questions, and she's, bringing them to me, and I don't have a whole lot of answers for her.
Hello. You can always bring them to me. Okay, call me.
And that's why I'm calling.
Text me, email me,
this is...
Messenger, Facebook me, or whatever it's called.
Yes, I can do that too. But this one specific question came up, and that is regarding the Noahide Laws. She was asking what I knew about them, and quite frankly, not a lot. But she saw a lot of these sort of sensationalist, beware of the Noahides, and this claim out there that it is set up to trick Christians into signing on, and that eventually the Jewish people are going to behead all of the Christians.
Oh my gosh, I have never heard that in my life.
That is the stupidest.
Oh my!
Aren't we the ones who were told directly by God, from God's face, "Thou shalt not murder"?
That is so funny.
Hello.
Oh my!
Where do they get that from?
It's like how they make matzah with the blood of babies. I mean, come on, really?
Yeah, well, and I talked with her, a little bit, and I said, beware of people like that. A lot of times it's,
really.
anti-Semitism. And I said, history has a tendency to repeat itself. Let's take a look at history. How often have Jews rounded up Christians to behead them?
Yeah.
Yes, and the opposite has always been true for 2019 years.
Right, which is Tammy's point.
Give or take
exactly.
a few hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you could speak a little bit to the Noahide Laws, and just, for someone who's just new to it and encountering these kinds of claims from
the claims are just outrageous.
What do you say?
Okay, so Tammy, what we'll do, I don't know if we'll get into the actual laws themselves, but we'll cover
it's real simple, and they're categories. They're not.
Yeah.
It's
So
you got to be careful.
It's more like 65 to 70 laws, not
66 if I counted correctly, but
yeah.
I may not have counted correctly.
But point being, we probably won't get into those necessarily, but we definitely want to address the claims, because those same claims are, that's kind of why, is one of the reasons why Tanakh Talk exists, to be honest with you. So, okay, thank you, Tammy, for your call.
Right,
I appreciate
and
it.
That's all I want. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Right.
Thank you for calling. Okay, awesome.
All right.
Yeah, so and to clarify what I meant by what I just told her, part of the reason why Tanakh Talk exists is because, Christianity's claims about anything Jewish, for the most part, and I'm making this a blanket statement, and I'm not saying that everybody falls under this blanket, but from what I've seen, most of them do. As they constantly are making really evil and wicked claims against things, the Jewish things about the oral Torah, things about even like the Noahide Laws, which you wouldn't believe anyway unless you accepted the oral law to begin with.
Exactly my point. That's the first thing I was going to say off the bat.
Oh, very good. Why don't you take it and talk about it for a minute?
Well, okay, just real quickly, because this is not exactly my specialty, and it is a specialized field of study.
Okay.
But rabbinic understanding of the Torah in Genesis. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Is that there's a covenant that God made with Noah, and through Noah, all of Noah's descendants. Who are the descendants of Noah today? Obviously, it's every human on planet Earth.
Right.
By definition, they have to be a descendant from Noah. So every human already has and is in a eternal relationship with God through the laws of Noah. So Judaism doesn't say only Jews have a relationship with God. That's not Judaism. Okay, a covenant. What's a covenant? A covenant is a contract. A covenant is an agreement. So it's a contract, covenant, testament, last will and testament, which means a contract. Okay, that's what a testament. That's what a covenant is. So the covenant God made with Noah is a contract that has certain things that God will provide for those who accept it, and there are certain things that the people who accept it have to do. Just like the covenant with Jews, there's 613 commandments. Okay, well, there are 7 commandments that are what the Noahides have to do to keep up their end of the covenant, of the contract, of the testament. The 7 laws, which are categories more than they're laws, but they're called the laws of Noah. Another rabbinic interpretation, okay, and that is no idolatry, no blasphemy, no murder, no stealing, no immoral sexual union, which is basically adultery and incest and rape, humane treatment of animals, and then establish courts of justice that protect the first 6 laws and cover those things that are not covered by the first 6 laws. Okay, so for example, I'm walking my dog on your lawn because my dog is about to go potty, and my dog, God forbid, breaks its leg on your property. Well, that's not blasphemy, that's not murder, stealing, idolatry. You might call it cruelty to animals, but it was an accident, so you weren't intentionally cruel. So you have a court of justice to set up protection and determine who's responsible to who for what. So it covers the first 6 laws, the courts of justice, and it covers those things which are not directly, obviously, or whatever covered by the first 6. And those are real categories, than just that straight law. Excuse me. So the question becomes, how does a B'nai Noach express their spirituality, their connection to God? Do they have services? These are questions I don't know well enough the answer, and frankly, you have to go to a better authority, certainly, than I ever would be. Tovia, plenty of people that, William, interviews for the Tanakh Talk. Okay, but
don't shortchange yourself, mister.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. The point is that to accept these laws is to accept being part of the covenant that Judaism says they're in already if they just accept their, like sign the dotted line or whatever on this spiritual contract between God and the descendants of Noah. The idea that the Jews are going to cut off the heads. When do Jews ever cut off anybody's heads in any criminal action, in any capital, no pun intended, case? Okay, that's not how we kill people.
Right.
That's how the Muslims kill people, but that's not how Jews kill people. It's either stoning, that's the obvious, strangulation, that's another form of the death penalty.
Right.
But you have to have committed a major crime. It's not. Judaism doesn't care what anybody else thinks. We don't care what you believe. Leave us alone. That's what we care about. Of course, we think your life would be better off if you convert to Judaism, or at least to B'nai Noach. We think your life will be better off. Okay, you'll have a better life, but we don't care what you do. Leave us alone.
Right.
So I hope that answers her question.
Right. Oh, yeah. Very, very cool. Awesome. Yeah, that definitely answered it for me anyway.
All right. Well, it's a very simplistic answer.
Yep.
I didn't go into the categories like it said, okay, thou shalt not murder. And by the way, did you notice that these are the most basic elemental laws of morality and ethics that almost every society, culture, community, city, town, county, state, country has?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the world basically, not all of them, but by and large, they all have courts of justice. They have laws against murder and laws against stealing. They actually have laws on the books for the fair, the humane treatment of animals. The world has gone a long way towards the Shebel Mitzvot, the 7 laws of Noah.
Right. Sandra Gomez says, sadly, Christians say the Noahide laws are all made up. And my response to her was like, and of course she's in agreement with us, but my response was, and yet they keep most of them. So made up or not, why the hell are they keeping them?
And by the way, it's not really that hard to find.
Right.
Okay. Nowhere does it say, Noah, you and your descendants are going to have to keep the following 7 laws. Right. But if it says, these are the things that you now can eat because when you come out of the ark, they're going to be edible to you, or however that's worded, which kind of means that you can't eat the other things.
Right.
Okay. There are elements that talk about the humane treatment of animals. Some of these laws of Noah are more derived from what God spoke to Adam, but they're still part and parcel of the laws of Noah. Go ahead.
But they do exist. Okay, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling from. You are live on the air.
Thomas from Michigan.
Thomas, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Rabbi and William?
Doing great.
Thank God.
I knew a guy back in the day who didn't talk to his dad, and I didn't understand why until we ran into him. They got into a big argument. He said he didn't like his dad's job. He was called a plant. He was actually paid to go to tent revivals and stuff to pretend to be sick.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he used it as it bring people closer to Jesus.
Right. I totally get that. I mean, honestly, if I was a Christian today, I would still do the same thing if I thought it would enhance people's faith, if it would further their beliefs on that path that we all believed in. So,
well, some of them,
I wouldn't do it now, knowing what I know, but
some of the preachers he went to became very big TV bankers. I mean, TV preachers.
Right, that's so true.
I'm sure they did.
So you actually know this person, and then, so it's not like a story you heard. You actually talked to this person. That's what they told you.
No, I know the guy.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's his dad. Yeah, I only met his dad once, but I never knew why he didn't talk to his dad until we ran into him. And I was like, wow,
okay, if you really want to see a great
movie, want to know why I don't like Christianity?
About tent revivals.
Oh, the one with what's his name? Mm-hmm.
Steve Martin.
Yeah. What was it called? The Apostle or something like that?
No. I'm still trying to find it.
Yeah, that's funny. That would be a good example of what our caller. Caller, tell me your name again. I'm sorry, I went blank.
Thomas from Michigan.
Thomas, very good. Yeah, so there was that movie Rabbi was looking up with Steve Martin where he played this evangelist and tent revivalist and was doing all these miracles and stuff. I seen that. I saw the movie a long time ago.
Oh yeah, I've seen it, but I can't remember the name.
Right. That's a
something...
really that's a very real depiction of what goes on. You know.
Why isn't it on here?
So interesting.
Oh, that's because it's writer. Okay, wait a minute.
Oh, Leap of Faith. Thank you, Martha Wheeler.
Leap of Faith.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Actor here. Okay.
Yeah. Very good. All right.
Yep. And then, by the way, one of the advisors on it was Marjo.
Rabbi, hang on Rabbi.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hang on one second. Thomas, go ahead.
Oh, he can go.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a question. I apologize. Okay.
Oh, I do, but let him talk first.
Okay, you got it.
Well, no, I'm sorry, but just real quick, Leap of Faith had as a consultant Marjo, who was a tent revivalist from the age of 4, telling them all their tricks to be able to make the movie. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. Tom, go ahead. Thomas, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I got a question that's been bothering me for a while. Where is Waldo?
Hey, I found him on every page, so there.
That's funny.
Well, thank you very much. I just had to let you know about that because that's one thing that blew my mind when I was younger.
Yeah, it blows my mind to hear it now.
Take care.
Okay, thank you, brother. Take care. Shalom, shalom.
Usually they don't admit that.
Right. That's funny. Wonderful world of Disney.
Yep.
Interesting. Well,
Martha, that's right. Marjo Gortner. Yep.
Interesting. Very unbelievable. Wow, thank you guys. Jake Turks. Wait. Yep, there it went. Okay, Jake. Please, if you talk to Rabbi Yisroel Blumenthal, please tell him I will certainly look for his email response again. That thing gets so flooded with emails. In fact, Jake, send me a message on Messenger. I'm going to give you a different email address that you can actually have him contact me through that has a lot less traffic and it's easier for me to keep track of those. But yeah, certainly.
And Jake, do me a favor and say hi to Rabbi Blumenthal, please, from me.
Yeah, and tell him we're all excited about getting him on here for sure. And definitely by no means are we putting him on the back burner at all. We just got to figure out where to slip him into the right time slot to make it work. So that's awesome. All right, good deal. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been this may go up.
Wait a minute. Another baloney thing.
Oh, the African Elijah thing. Is that what you just read?
Abdul Aziz. Can African Americans be Jewish, and if no, why not? Who said they couldn't be? What are you talking about?
Now he said, "Can they?"
I've got African American Jews in my synagogue.
Well, Abdul says, "Can they?" Not they can't. He says, "Can African Americans be Jewish?"
Yes, but why wouldn't they be able to? He says, and if no, why not? Assumes the answer is no. The answer is yes. They can and are Jewish.
I don't see him assuming the answer is no. I think he's
all right.
curious.
Well, my answer still sticks.
Right.
Yes, they can be Jewish.
Right.
You know, going back thousands of years and still be. Whatever.
Right. Hey, the steroids, man. You're getting all pumped up here.
Daniel Shalom. Sammy Davis Jr. converted. I'm not talking about people who convert. Anybody can convert. That's not the issue. But I'm talking about African Americans whose families go back thousands of years, who's always been Jewish.
Somebody made a comment earlier about somebody. Oh, I should look for the tag. It said, "Have we heard about the new famous guy in Africa who's like this new Elijah thing who makes it rain and does all these fake miracles?" I haven't heard of that person yet. I thought that's what you were reading.
Being in Africa, I'm not surprised.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I passed it. Anyway, I think I captured the question pretty well. So good deal. Yeah, this is definitely going to be ranking on one of my favorite shows. I'm going to go back and rewatch this one tomorrow. So.
Maria, is there any steps to follow to convert? How? Yes. Go immediately talk to a rabbi.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where you live. I don't know what home city you've got. I don't know if you have access to multiple rabbis or just one, but go talk to them. Go to services. My house will be a house of prayer for all peoples. Even if you are just there visiting, you'll be welcomed in, I would hope.
Yeah.
And just talk to people, talk to them, talk to the rabbi and see what they tell you.
Right.
Usually it's at least a year, maybe more of study. Okay, think of it like becoming naturalized as a citizen of the United States or any country. What do you have to do to become naturalized?
Right.
You have to study the laws and the customs and the culture of the country that you're becoming naturalized to. You have to pass tests in order to show that you know what you're doing, you know what you're getting into by becoming a citizen of that nation. You have to know the history, the philosophy, okay, the liturgy, and yes, being a United States citizen has its own liturgy. We do sing the Star Spangled Banner before every baseball game. There's a specific reason why, okay? And conversion to Judaism is the process of naturalization to become a citizen of the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. God said, I will make you a great nation, not I will make you a great culture, not I will make you a great ethnic group, not that I will make you a great follower of a way of life, but I will make you a great nation. We are a nation defined by our religion. Convert to the religion, you become a citizen of the nation. I'm not talking country. I'm not talking state of Israel. I'm talking the people of Israel as a nation.
Right. Okay.
And she says she's naturalized. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay. So regarding conversion, Maximo says that they will dissuade you. The rabbis will. And yes, they will. But
Christo, calling the conversion a two-way legal adoption sounds nice. But yes, there are tests, Maria. But you know, and it's the way some people say it's becoming adopted into the family. When God spoke to when God spoke to Abraham, he didn't say, I'm going to make you a great family. He said, I'm going to make you a great nation. And if you take a look at what being a Jew is, it's being a part of a nation. We have our own laws, our own mores, our own, everything that makes a nation. I'm not talking civilization, I'm talking nation, country. Not with the borders and passports, that's Israel. Okay, think of it as people of Israel. It is synonymous with nation of Israel. You know,
right.
And
so real quick, let me go back.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's the steroid speaking.
No, what was that phrase you asked me if I heard of? Something about roid something or other.
Roid rage.
Roid rage, like road rage. That's funny.
Yeah.
I never heard that before.
Steroid roid rage.
Yeah, he's on steroids. So okay, cool. So yeah,
I'm feeling really good. I'm not coughing.
That's funny. So yeah, you want to convert. You're going to go in for the first time. They're going to try to dissuade you, and for the right reasons though. So don't wait.
Something.
Wait.
This isn't a secret club.
Hold on. I know. Let me finish the thought.
Sorry.
Okay, so for the third time, they will try to dissuade you, but for a good reason. Right now, this is my understanding, and Rabbi may not agree with this because I won't get into reasons. But anyway, point is, right now, if you're not a convert, if you are Ben Noach or whatever, right? If you're a Noahide, you're not held accountable to the 613. You're held accountable to the seven generalized groupings of laws, right? Now, the moment that you complete your conversion and you are now Jewish, now you are absolutely responsible for every one of the 613 laws, and if you do
that apply to you,
and that'll apply to you, and if you don't do them, it will be sin to you. Right now it's not. I can eat pork all day long and it's not a sin to me. If I was Jewish and I ate a pork sandwich, that is very, very, very bad news, right? So it's better for them to dissuade you than to make a sinner out of you. Too many people get converted quickly. Let me finish this thought. People get converted quickly, not realizing how hard it is or how strenuous it is, and then they recoil, they draw back, and all of a sudden now there's all these problems. That's the reason why you're going to experience dissuasion.
And my point is that it's not a secret club that you have to say the secret word to get into the door, you know, like a speakeasy in the 20s. Okay, most rabbis that I know, I don't care what their denomination, branch of Judaism you want to call it, they're not going to push you away 3 times and the 4th time say yes. That's television. What they're going to do is they're not going to convert you until they know you well enough to know that you're sincere and you know what you're getting into, which, by the way, is part of the task of the Beit Din. Okay, Beit Din is the 3 judges. Din is judgment. Okay, Beit Din, house of judgment, is the court that determines if you know what you're getting into, if you have the knowledge to base what you're, what's it called? Informed consent. Okay, you know, they want to know that you know what you're getting into. Have you already been suffering in the process of conversion from anti-Semitism? Okay, do you know that you have to keep, just like William said, That's the Beit Din. They're not going to. So the idea of no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't, yes, you can, is they're not even going to approach the Beit Din. They're not even going to get you even near the Beit Din unless they know that you're into this for the right reasons and in sincerity, and you've got the backbone and the intestinal fortitude and whatever else to complete it and to successfully commit yourself to what really amounts to a new lifestyle.
One thing that came to mind as you were talking about all this, a good way to look at this is kind of like when you go get a new job at a really serious company. They put you on 90 days of a trial period. What do they call that period? Whatever. But they won't put you full time until after 90 days. Now, granted, this is a much smaller scale, but the point is the same. They want to make sure that during that 90 days that you're dedicated, that you're going to be willing to stick with the program and have and be able to handle this whole thing. So it's a kind of a fair comparison, just on a much smaller time scale. So somebody asked me a question earlier. They said, William, what do I do about not having where did it go? Let me scroll back. Not having kosher foods near me. Well, this is how I deal with kosher food. We don't eat pork. Now, granted, the actual beef that we eat is not, I guess you could say, kosher in the sense it was not prepared by a rabbi.
So it's not kosher.
Right. So that's the whole point. So, but we do avoid unclean animal flesh, whether it be shrimp, crayfish, crustaceans, pork, anything like that. We don't eat horse meat and all this other stuff. That's the best we can do. And honestly, even if we chose to just blatantly eat pork right now, it would not even bat God's eye once, because we're not under that part of the laws right now. So now I wouldn't eat them anyway because it's unhealthy for you, and I don't believe that. I don't know. I have my own thoughts on that, but I don't eat unclean animal flesh. Period. So
yeah,
you know what I mean. Best way to
shellfish and pig.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, but I will remind everybody that.
Oh, we eat a lot of vegetables. We're actually turning more into a vegetation diet. Not that we leave out meat, but that is also helpful. Anyway, Rabbi, go ahead.
Which, by the way, is healthier.
Right.
And we know it is.
John Payne, thank you. I will check that out. I'll try to send me an email on that the divine code. John Payne, thank you.
Okay. I want to go back to something that Mariah said. Sorry, I still don't know how to pronounce your name, but don't scare me. Where'd it go?
By the way, Rabbi Michael Lipschutz, I saw your comment on another video regarding Daniel Asor of Yad L'Chaim.
Yad L'Achim,
yes. I saw that and actually commented on that on your first request for that. So, but just to clarify that, just have him to send me an email to knocktalk@gmail.com. Have him to reach out to me so I can find out who he is and do a little research on him. Okay. Appreciate it.
And what was the email again?
To knocktalk, TENAKTALK@gmail.com.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have to give my own 2 cents worth to Mariah. She says, don't scare me. Is it better to stay Noahide so I don't sin for not keeping all 613 commandments? Maria.
Good question.
It's a great question, but it's important to give her an answer.
Yes.
And I can only tell you my opinion. Okay. And I hate to word it this way, but I'm going to. I have this hot fudge sundae, and it's wonderful. And it's got 3 different kinds of ice cream on it, and it's got hot fudge everywhere you look, and it's got whipped cream and a cherry on top, but I'm only going to let you have 1 scoop of vanilla. Being a Noahide, of course, and obviously is easier, but I think the idea of keeping 613 commandments is deeply exaggerated. First of all, less than half will apply to any one person at any one time in their lives. 613 is the measure of every commandment in the Torah, but that includes if you live in the state of Israel. It includes laws if you're a farmer. If you're not a farmer and you're not in the state of Israel, those laws don't apply to you. There are laws on the state you live in for people who drive 18-wheelers. But if you don't get behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, those laws don't apply to you.
Right on.
Okay, so don't get scared. Ooh, 613. By the way, also, there are hundreds of times more than 613 laws on the law books of the state you live in, you keep those. A lot more than 613 and whatever that do apply to you, you keep. Okay, so don't get scared away by 613 laws, okay? It's a way of life. It becomes natural to you, okay? Somebody says, hey, we're coming over for pepperoni pizza. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't eat that.
The hardest part I think she's going to experience is not the long-term keeping of, but the transition of getting to that point. Once you're there, it's no big deal. It's that transition
it becomes second
point.
nature.
Right.
It's a way of, that's why
right.
It's a way of life. Okay.
William Yates.
Every culture, every nation has its own laws. And come on, how many banks have you robbed today? I mean, we're not dealing with something. God explicitly promises in the Torah that the law is close to you, that you can do it.
Right.
Deuteronomy.
Maria says, okay, next goal, marry a rabbi. LOL.
You never
awesome.
know.
You never know. You never know. Rabbi.
Right. But one, I know you're in a hurry. You got to go eat. And I apologize.
Actually, I got to go to bed because I got an early morning tomorrow. So.
All right, just one more thing I'm going to say to Maria. Okay.
Go ahead.
Is it better to stay Noahide than to convert fully to Judaism? I can't tell you for you. But all the benefits that accrue to a person, very direct, very subtle, very indirect, very blatant benefits that accrue to you, the more commandments you keep, you are cheating yourself if you don't at least consider fully converting to Judaism and trying it on for size.
Yeah. Well, you can't try it. Once you do it, you're done.
No. Once you finish conversion, you can't.
Right.
But on the way to conversion,
I see what you mean.
2 seconds before you walk to the Beit Din for the initial ritual, the initial questioning or whatever, you can say, you know something, I don't really want to do this, and walk away.
Right.
People will be disappointed, but it's your life, not theirs.
JAR, I agree, by the way.
What did he say?
He said, I believe the world needs Noahides to reach them who have their hearts hardened towards Jews, and many other reasons as well. You know? And
for those who are hardened, yes, they need a Noahide.
Yeah.
But for the person who is thinking of conversion, either to Noahidism, is that a word, or to Judaism, I would say, don't limit yourself.
Right.
Because you limit the effect of the benefit. Look, let me be very blunt, real quick, okay? Please, God, if I ever get off my tush, my next book, The Benefits of Faith. Okay.
Right.
If a child is raised not to eat pork, knows enough to tell a family, hey, I can't eat with you because you're having pepperoni pizza and I can't eat with you. They know how to say no. They have the intestinal fortitude to limit themselves. It looks really good, but I'm going to say no because I don't eat that stuff. I'm Jewish.
Right.
That same kid, hey, kid, you want to try cocaine? Hey, kid, you want to try, it'll make you feel really, really good. Now has the guts that other children don't have because they know how to say no. They know how to say no to someone else. They know how to say no to themselves. Okay, there are subtle benefits to doing Judaism. The more of Judaism you do, the more benefit directly, inherently comes to the person who does it, is my point.
Right.
Don't limit yourself. Try it out. Learn about it. Experience it. Make your decision later.
Yeah, right. That's really good. I never actually thought about that. Actually, the way you said it was really good advice. I totally agree.
All right, now go to sleep.
Okay. Interestingly enough, yeah, I need to. I've got to really.
Don't forget to donate to Tanakh Talk. Go to TanakhTalk.com and donate.
Thank you, Rabbi, and thank you all who are doing this. This is really, really wonderful. It helps me. It encourages me to come back here with a happier face and with less stress on my head all the time from all these bills. So, yes, thank you. You guys are kind, and I love you all, though. And William Yates, by the way, I was going to say something, but I can't remember what it was, but it's good to see you on the chat room. So we'll see you guys next week. Shalom, shalom. Rabbi, love you, man, and we'll talk to you.
Love you too.
See you later. Check it out, y'all. Next week, same time, same place. Hashem willing. Peace.
מכל חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד